Hi, guys. We all thought that 2021 might be a little bit better, but the snow has caused some strangeness. So we have a remote snow day. I gave you this worksheet yesterday just in case, and I'm glad I did because it'll make things so much easier for you to copy things down. So the plan is you watch the video, copy down the notes as I'm doing them, and I'm going to leave 3 problems for you to do on your own. And then you can either take the picture or show it to me on Monday. Either one's fine. So let's go ahead and get started. So what we have here, we've been working with these special right triangles. So the other day we did the 45, 45, 90. And if you remember from the 45, 45, 90, the 2 legs were the same. And the hypotenuse was times the square root of 2. Now, today we're looking at the 30, 60, 90. So it's going to have a different setup. So what I need you to do is kind of off to the side here, draw yourself a right triangle. Make sure the one leg is shorter than the other leg. So it's going to look like this. So on the 45, 45, the legs were the same. But on this one, make sure you have a short leg and a long leg. I'm going to mark this a 30, 60, 90. So that's my setup. Now, all 3 of these sides are different. On the 45, 45, 2 of them are the same. But on this one, every single side's different. All of the sides are going to be based on the short side. So the short side, we're going to put the X. So that's the short side. So if I give you the short side, that's the easiest to find. The hypotenuse is twice as big. So that's also pretty easy because you're just going to double the short side. Now the tricky one is the long leg. So the long leg is whatever the short leg is times the square root of 3. Times the square root of 3. So kind of the process is, first, find the short leg. You always want to work off the short leg. So if I give it to you, great. If I don't give it to you, if I give you the hypotenuse or if I give you the long leg, you're going to have to backtrack to get to the short leg. Then go from there. So always find the short leg first. Find the short leg first. Then find the other 2 sides. So let's go ahead and take a look at some examples. And as always, because this is a video, it's nice you can kind of pause it and then keep going if you need to. So let me go ahead and slide this. Having technical problems over here. So, number 1. This is the short leg. The short leg is always going to be across from the 30. So, across from the 30 is short leg, and it definitely looks the shortest. So, I know the short leg. We know that. From the short leg to the hypotenuse, you're going to double it. So, the hypotenuse is going to be 9 times 2, because it's just twice as big, which is going to give me 18. So the hypotenuse is just going to be 18. The long leg, remember, is 9 times the square root of 3. Now, in this case, there's not much I can do with that. It's just 9 square roots of 3. So that's why I said if I give you the short leg, it's the easiest of all. So that was number 1. Number 2 is also pretty easy because I'm giving you the hypotenuse. So you always want to find the short leg first. So hypotenuse was twice as big as the short leg. So that means to go from the hypotenuse to the short leg, I've got to divide by 2 this time. Because anytime you're going to something bigger, you multiply. If you're going to something smaller, you divide. Well, 8 divided by 2, that's easy. That's just 4. So therefore, the short leg is 4. The long leg is just 4 times the square root of 3, which is just 4 square roots of 3. So the first 2 are about as easy as they can get. This one, because I gave you a short leg. This one, because I gave you a hypotenuse, and it divides easily by 2. So that's the first 2. That's the first two. Like I said, you can always pause the video so you can write things down. And let me go ahead and go from here. Number 3. Now, number 3, here's the hypotenuse. I know that hypotenuse is always across from the 90. This leg definitely looks shorter than this leg. So this is the long leg. And I always want to find the short leg first. And to find the short leg, you're backtracking, and I'm going to something smaller, so I've got to divide by the square root of 3. Because from long leg to short leg, you're working with the square root of 3. So 7 square roots of 3 divided by the square root of 3. And remember, when you're dividing, you're just going to set up a fraction. And if you're dividing, it goes in the bottom. Now, this one's pretty easy also because the square root of 3's just cancel. So when I cancel them, I just get 7. So therefore, the short leg is 7. Short leg to long leg, you just multiply by 2. So 7 times 2, you get 14. So I get a 14 there. So the first 3 were pretty easy setups. Now we get to ones that are a little bit trickier. They're a little bit trickier. So number 4 here. Well, here's my hypotenuse. The hypotenuse is always the easiest to find because it's always across from the 90. And then looking at these 2 legs, this one is shorter than this one. I also know it's shorter because if this is 30, the short leg's always across from the 30. So this is a long leg. Always find the short leg first. So long leg to short leg, remember we're working with the square root of 3. So I do 9 square roots of 3 over 2, which is this. Then I'm going to divide by the square root of 3. And remember, anytime you're dividing, it just means you're going to put the square root of 3 in the bottom of the denominator. Well, remember, you can reduce radicals with radicals. So these square roots of 3's can just cancel. So I end up getting 9 over 2 here. That's my short leg. Once I know the short leg, I can go to the long leg. Remember, the long leg, short leg to long leg, I'm going to something bigger, so I've got to multiply. So when I multiply, it goes in the top of the fraction. Well, now this time the 2's cancel, and my hypotenuse is just 9. So that's my answer there. A little bit trickier because I was working with something that was a fraction and a radical, but it all reduced out pretty easily, so it wasn't too bad. So that was number 4. Let me go ahead and slide again. Now we're on the back. Now the first thing you always want to do is kind of figure out short leg, long leg, hypotenuse. So here is my 90. This is the long leg. This is the hypotenuse. This number is across from the 30, so it's the short leg, which is what I always want to start with. So since I gave you the short leg to start with, I'm in really good shape. So I can just find either one of these because both of these are based off of short leg. So short leg to hypotenuse, remember you had to multiply by 2. So 3 over 2 times 2. Well, the 2's are going to cancel again. I just get 3. So I get a 3 there. Short leg to long leg, you multiply by square root of 3. Well, remember, if you're multiplying, it goes in the top of the fraction. So 3 square roots of 3 over 2. Well, that doesn't reduce. I can't really do anything with that. So those are my 2 answers. So on all of these, there's going to be 3 different answers for each of the 3 sides. One of them I give you. The other 2 you're going to have to find. So number 6. Number 6, I'm giving you the hypotenuse. Always find the short leg first. So hypotenuse, I'm going to short leg. This is the short leg. But this time I'm going to have to divide by 2. So if I'm going to something bigger, you multiply. If you're going to something smaller, you divide. And remember, divide just means put it in the bottom of a fraction. So I get 7 over 2. Do not try to change that to 3.5 because you never want to mix decimals and radicals because then you just get with a mess. Just leave it 7/2. It makes it so much easier. Now I've got the short leg. Well, now that I've got the short leg to long leg, we're going to multiply by the square root of 3. So 7 square roots of 3 over 2. So that one came out pretty good. 7 square roots of 3 over 2. So that's that guy. So that's 5 and 6. Now I've got 3 more to do, and then there's 3 at the bottom here that I'm going to have you to do as part of your kind of proof that you try to give the things a shot. Like I said, you can always pause, always rewatch. Let me kind of keep going. 7, 8. So number 7. Here's the hypotenuse. Here's the short leg. 9 must be the long leg. Always find the short leg first. So long leg to short leg. I'm going long leg to short leg. Now remember, this one is divide by square root of 3. From leg to leg, you go square root of 3. Now this is one of the trickier ones. And we did something like this when we did the 45, 45. And I'm going to kind of put it down here so I have a little bit more room to work. So I've got 9 divide by the square root of 3. Well, remember, I can't leave it like this because I'm not allowed to leave a radical in the denominator. So if you remember from when we did the 45, 45s, to get rid of the radical in the denominator, you multiply the top and the bottom by whatever that radical is. So I'm going to multiply by radical 3. So now I get 9 radical 3 over, well, I've got 2 different 3's, so the 3 can come out. Now I'm almost done, but if you notice, the 9 and the 3 actually cancels. So I end up getting 3 radical 3. Now I could put it over 1, but I don't need the 1. So this guy here is going to be 3 radical 3. That's probably the trickiest of the bunch. That one's kind of tricky. So long leg to short leg, we divided by radical 3. I couldn't leave divided by radical 3, so you're going to multiply the top and bottom by radical 3. So I got 9 radical 3 over 3, then I reduced. Now I've got the short leg. I'm going to hypotenuse. Well, that's just times 2. Short leg to hypotenuse is always times 2. You never go from long leg to hypotenuse. You always go through short leg to begin with. Always work on short leg first. So I'm going to multiply by 2. Well, that's easy because 3 times 2 is 6. 6 radical 3. So I get a 6 radical 3 there. Number 8 is the first one I want you to try on your own. Try number 8. Number 8 is a lot like, pretty close to number 1. It's a slight difference, but it's pretty close to number 1. It's really close to number 5. Really close to number 5. So number 8, you're going to try on your own. And to get full credit, you've got to give this one a shot. And like I said, you can either take the picture or show it to me on Monday. So number 8, I want you to try on your own. It's a whole lot like number 5. So use number 5 as an example. Number 9 is another one you're going to need to do on your own. So number 9 you're going to do on your own. Number 9, I'm giving you short leg. It's a whole lot like number 1. It's like number 1. So give it a shot. I'm giving you short leg. Go to hypotenuse, go to long leg. Number 10 I'm going to go ahead and do because it's a little different. So let me try number 10. Number 10, here's my 90. So this is hypotenuse. This is the short leg. I'm giving you the long leg again. Always go to the short leg first. So remember, I'm going long to short, so I'm dividing. Anytime you're going to something smaller, divide. So divide by radical 3. From leg to leg, it's always radical 3. So I get 7 divided by radical 3. Well, we did one kind of like this a little bit ago. Remember, I can't leave it like this. So multiply top and bottom by radical 3. So 7 radical 3 over 3. Now, in this case, I can't reduce that. 7 and 3 doesn't reduce, so that's my answer. So that's my that's my short leg. That's my short leg. Now I got to go to hypotenuse. Short leg to hypotenuse, remember you're going to multiply by 2. So 7 radical 3 over 3, that's what this was, times 2. And if you're multiplying, it goes in the top. If you're multiplying, it goes in the top. If you're dividing, it goes in the bottom. Well, just take 7 times 2, 14 radical 3 over 3. So that's that one. So that one's also kind of tricky. That was a tricky one. So that's why I didn't leave that one for you guys to do. Number 11. Number 11. Let me go ahead and give number 11 a shot. I've got the hypotenuse. From hypotenuse, I want to go to short leg because you're always going to go short leg first. I'm going to something smaller, so you divide by 2. Divide by 2. Well, when you divide by 2, and I'm going to put that down here, 16 radical 3 over 3. When you divide by 2, it just goes in the denominator. So now I get 16 radical 3 over 6. And the 16 and the 6 can just reduce. So I get 8 radical 3 over, divide this by 2, I get 3. So that's my answer there. So this guy here, 8 radical 3 over 3. That's the short leg. Now I got to get to long leg. Now long leg, remember, short leg to long leg. Short leg to long leg. You're going to multiply by radical 3. Now let me put it over here again. Now remember, when you're multiplying, it goes on top. So that's my setup right now, because we're multiplying by radical 3. So that's this. Well, I've got 2 different 3's here. So now I get 8 times 3 over 3, and the 3's just canceled. So this guy here is just 8. That's just 8. Now, number 12. Number 12 is a whole lot like number 7, but number 7 reduced where number 12 won't. So it's kind of like that one. It's also kind of like number 10, very similar to number 10. So that way it gives you a couple to look at. So 8, 9, and 12. 8, 9, and 12. Those are the 3 that I want you to try on your own. I'll have a Google Meet set up all day long let me give you the times. I'll have 9:30 to 10:40 set up, and I'll also put this in the stream. And then I'll also have 12 to 2:20 set up, 12 to 2:20. So if you have any questions at all over this or anything else, feel free to pop in during those times. So watch the video, fill out the notes, try the 3 problems. Try them. Make sure they're done for Monday. Have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. This year has been interesting. I think just as much interesting as last year. But at least we get to be out and about, unless we're snowed in. Have a great weekend.